Charles Joseph Finger was a British-born American writer and adventurer. Born in 1869 in Willesden, the son of German tailor Charles Finger and Julia Connolly. He attended King's College and studied music in Frankfurt-am-Main in the mid-1880s. At the age of 20 he began to seek gold and serve as a guide in Tierra del Fuego and Patagonia. Afterwards he moved to the United States, living in Texas for some time before settling in Fayetteville, Arkansas. He worked as a sailor editor and a boilermaker's helper, among others. From 1898 to 1904 he directed the San Angelo Conservatory of Music in Texas. In 1902 he married Eleanor Ferguson, the pair having 5 children. He died in Fayetteville in 1941. His 1924 Tales from Silver Lands won the Newbery Medal in 1925. Aside from stories based on his adventurous life, he also wrote biographies of Theodore Roosevelt, Muhammad, and P.T. Barnum. Today we will review his 1924 collection in Lawless Lands. There are only 2 fully fantastic tales, The Shame of Gold and The Jade Piece. The Shame of Gold is a rambling but fascinating tale of a man's journey to South America, meeting a fellow white man enslaved by a local tribe, finding a gold-hating, peaceful tribe that he had to leave when he tried to take some, and stumbling upon a monstrous thing coming at him from the yellow clay, and barely coming out of it alive. My Friend Julio is a bit less interesting, about how the narrator's friend Julio recommandeered his friend's vessel commandeered by some soldiers during the Chilean Civil War, and then got cut to ribbons for it later. Some mischievous thing has a lighthouse keeper mention how he met a man named Seastream, who was convinced his insincere prayers keep him immune from danger, and put all around him at risk. And how several men, including the narrator, almost die of hunger looking for him out at sea after he jumps in. Ebro concerns a man who says all civilization is bunk, a common theme in Finger's stories, and tells of how he murdered a man who killed and violated his native mate and had trampled his infant son to death. Highness is a gritty, bloody tale of a horrible, gruesome fight that breaks out among the drunken residents of a shoddy, terrible inn in the wilds of the Pampa. Canasa, meanwhile, is the tale of 2 gauchos and their vicious duel to the death, being observed by the men who hired them before they decided to kill each other. The Jade Piece has a man come up looking for a seemingly worthless piece of jade, and in doing so showing certain abilities that lead him to admit that he's a servant of the gods, having entered their service when entering a long-abandoned Temple of Quetzcoatl near Palenque, hinting that wars and strife are being orchestrated in the world by a higher power aiming to wipe out humanity and take its place. Sadly, the second half of the book loses steam and is really not as good. There's the story of a group of natives taking a black man who had horns grafted onto his head for a carnival show as a god, which isn't nearly as exciting as it may sound. The story of a factory manager being run out of town by what seemed to be the clan, because of an affair with his secretary, the tale of a poetic youth crushed under heel by his book-hating, fear-preaching father, the story of burying a dead woman while her husband is drunk, the tale of a writer's suicide because he had to shoot a man during the war, the story of an affair and elopement upheld by neither party involved, or the story of a native woman accidentally killing a missionary and setting off to find this god fellow to tell him all his followers are weak and can't even make a good spearhead. It's unfortunate, but all the grim sardonic energy of the first half, with moonlit night fights and jaws shot off and stomachs slit, all but mellows out in the end.